The malleability of memory. Silas sat in his quiet apartment, a cup of coffee growing cold in his hands. A vivid, terrifying memory had just surfaced, unbidden and sharp as a shard of glass. He remembered a hike with his best friend Leo years ago. The sun was setting, painting the sky in fiery colors. He remembered a sudden, cold anger, a moment of madness. He remembered pushing Leo. He shook his head, trying to dislodge the image. It couldn't be real. Leo, he's fine. They just haven't talked in a while. But the memory felt so real, so visceral. He could feel the rough bark of the tree he was holding onto, the crunch of leaves under his boots, the sickening lurch as Leo fell. The next day, he tried to call Leo. The number was disconnected. He tried a few more times, his heart pounding. He searched for Leo on social media. Nothing. It was as if Leo had vanished. A cold dread settled in his stomach. He remembered a conversation with his therapist, Dr. Eris, about how the brain can invent completely fake events and make you believe they're real. It's called a false memory. Old hiking trail. Maybe seeing the place would prove the memory was false. He drove out, the familiar landscape bringing back flashes of that day. He found the spot where the memory was set. It was a steep, rocky outcrop overlooking a ravine. His memory was so precise. He looked down, and his blood ran cold. A small, faded scarf was caught on a thorny bush below. He remembered Leo wearing that exact scarf. He scrambled down the slope, his hands and knees scraped raw. He reached the scarf and pulled it free. It was old and frayed, but it was definitely the one. A wave of nausea washed over him. This was a real object. This was real evidence. The false memory theory felt like a lie he'd been telling himself. Back at home, he found an old photo album. He flipped through the pages, his hands trembling. He found a picture of him and Leo from that very hike. They're smiling, standing at the top of the cliff. But then he noticed something strange. The date on the photo was a week before the day he remembered the incident happening. And in the background of the photo, there was a distinct, small, red scarf tied to a tree branch. He rushed to his next therapy session. "Dr. Eris," he said, his voice a frantic whisper. I think I really did it. I found the scarf and a photo from that day. The memory isn't false." Dr. Eris smiled, a calm, knowing expression on her face. "Silas," she said gently, "the brain can be a very creative storyteller. It can use real objects and real memories and weave them into a completely new narrative." She explained that the scarf was likely there for years, a lost piece of clothing from a previous hiker. The photo was a real memory, but his brain had edited it, adding the scarf to the background to support the new, terrifying narrative. "Your mind is trying to make sense of something," she said, "but it's using the wrong pieces." Silas felt a sense of relief, but it was quickly replaced by a new, gnawing fear. He returned home, still uneasy. He decided to look up Dr. Eris. He found her professional profile and then a link to a research paper. The title made his blood run cold: "The Malleability of Memory, Inducing False Narratives in Adult Subjects." He read the abstract. The paper detailed a study where researchers planted false memories in participants using a combination of suggestion and real-world cues. The case study was a man named Silas. He scrolled to the end of the paper, his hands shaking. He found the conclusion. Subject 4, Silas, successfully integrated the false narrative of harming a non-existent friend, Leo, into his personal history. This case demonstrates the profound ease with which a person's core identity can be rewritten. He looked around his apartment, at the cold coffee, the photo album, the phone with the disconnected number. He was not a killer, but he was a subject, a ghost in his own life. The story was over, but for Silas, the lie had just begun.